So today we're going to be talking about another present value question regarding anticipated annuity, but in this case we're going to do an example where there's an initial down payment. Typically when we buy a car and finance a car or buy a house and finance that house, we don't just finance the entire purchase price of it. We usually make some sort of initial down payment. And if we are going to finance something, especially if it's a car, then that is a good thing to do because that down payment money, we're not going to have to pay any more, any more than it's actually worth in that case, right? Because the down payment money, since we pay it right away when we purchase the vehicle, doesn't have any time to accrue any interest. However, anything that isn't paid off in full at the day when we're purchasing is going to accrue some extent of interest. So having as large a down payment as possible is the best, right? Or ideally being able to pay the full amount for the car in cash, that's even better, right? Because then we don't end up paying any interest or fees like that at all. But anyways, let's get into this problem and how we can solve it. A customer is purchasing a car by making an initial down payment of $10,000 and will make 24 monthly payments of $560 towards the remaining balance at an 8% annual interest rate. What is the purchase price of the car? So the reason that this is present value is because we're talking about, well, how much is the car worth? Presumably, right? How much is the amount we have to pay for the car on the day we're getting it, right? When the car, 3 years from now, or I guess it's 24 monthly payments, so 2 years from now, the car is not going to be worth as much. The question that they're asking is how much is the actual purchase price of the car right now today? So present value. All right, so in this case, we need to put that D is the amount for the down payment. So that already knocks $10,000 off of our purchase price, which is good. And then we have A, which is the annuity. In other words, how much monthly do we have to pay? And that's going to be $560 per month. And then I is the interest rate, and that is 8% annually, which is the equivalent of, we have to divide by 12 because we want the monthly interest rate here. Since this is being compounded monthly and the payments are monthly as well, this is going to be 0.006 repeating. And then last but not least, N is the number of payments made, and that is going to be 24 payments, right? Or even if they'd said you're going to make monthly payments for 2 years, we would have to put that together and say, well, that means there's going to be 24 monthly payments in all. All right, so what was the purchase price of the vehicle, right? What was the sticker price essentially that we agreed with the car dealership or whoever we bought the car from that we would be paying for this car? Well, let's see. Present value is equal to the down payment, so $10,000 plus 560 times 1 minus 1 plus I, which is going to be 1.006 repeating to the power of negative 24 all over I, so all over 0.006 repeating like that. And then we're going to do 1.006 repeating to the power of 24, hit equals, and then 1 minus that number, or sorry, it's negative 24, my apologies, so sorry. So 1.006 repeating to the power of negative 24, hit equals. Then we're going to do 1 minus that number, hit equals again, divide by 0.006 repeating, hit equals again, multiply by 560, hit equals again, and then add $10,000, hit equals again. Okay, so the present value I got from doing that was $22,382.02. So therefore, the purchase price here was $22,382.02. So that fully answers this question of what the purchase price of the vehicle was. Let's say they asked you other alternative questions. Let's say they asked how much of that was made from interest, for example, right? Or how much interest in total was paid. Well, we could say, well, the interest paid is going to be this $22,000 number minus the $10,000, and then we could also add up all the different monthly payments that were made and figure out that in order to do this. So actually I'm going to do that in case that alternate version of the question is asked to you at any point. So in terms of how to find out how much interest was paid in total, well, we know the total amount overall that it would have cost if we didn't pay any interest, if we just put down the entire amount and didn't have any car note at all, would be $22,382.02. Now, but in the end, how much did we actually pay? We paid $560 24 times. So 560 times 24 is equal to $13,440. So that's the total amount we paid in car payments. Plus, we also paid $10,000 for the down payment. So if we add those two numbers up, we get the total amount paid for the car was $23,440 when the sticker price was only $22,382.02. So therefore, if we subtract off the amount that we would have had to pay anyway, we get $1,057.98. You might be thinking, oh, like that's not that bad. That's not as much as I expected. And fair enough, right? This person is paying this off very quickly. And the quicker we pay something off, especially high interest debt off, the less interest is we're going to have to pay. And because this is only 2 years, even though it is still extra money, it's not nearly as much extra money as we would have to pay if we drag this out for a longer time. So it is better if you do need to get a car payment to get one that spreads out of less time, because then there's less time for compound interest to actually do its thing, for the compound interest to actually compound. Right. And also too, the loan initially was only 12,000 something. That's another version of this question you might be asked. How much loan was taken out? Well, the thing is, the purchase price of the car was $22,382.02. And then we put a down payment of $10,000. So the actual loan taken out was only $12,382.02. And so because it's such a small loan amount, we're not going to expect some crazy high in the sky amount of interest for a relatively small loan in the grand scheme of things. So I just wanted to quickly go over what if you're asked other versions of the question, how would we go about answering those? But that's it for this video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave those down in the comment section, and I'll see you for the next one.